Hello and welcome to DCU Tonight. I am your host, Rockvar, here on the couch with Hippolyta Kent, hanging out playing DCUO in the middle of Snowmageddon. Most likely we will die by the end of this broadcast. We may be frozen popsicles, we may be varsicles by the end of the broadcast, so thank you for joining us on this DCU Tonight, where we will be talking in great detail about DCTV for the last week. What week was this? The week of the 20th? The week of January 20th? I think Monday was the 20th. If not, I now declare the thus forth January 20th will have been Monday. It was the 18th. So the week of January 18th, talking DCTV, talking DC Universe Online. Lots of news to go over on both sides of things. And jumping on over to DCComics.com and got some stuff to talk about there. So, as always, we'll start out in DCUO news. DCUO news. And to do that, we head over to DCUniverseOnline.com, where we will check the announcements section, because that's where the news typically comes from. Or actually, there are no announcements right now. We just came up from a restart that had to do with server maintenance, and so that's really the only thing in the announcements section that they've put. And the only real news right now there's all kinds of news going on in DCUO. We got the PlayStation PC crossplay happening next week, I think. Big news on the way. We've got episode 21 to be announced that's going to have to do with Legends of Tomorrow, which we'll talk about in a little while on the show. But outside of that, the only new thing that I have to discuss that I haven't talked about already is what's happening with survival mode. So this is I think it's the last week for survival mode, Trigon's Prison. And so that was the announcement that I wanted to talk about, because there were a number of people who have gotten very far, and they've put a huge list on here that you can see everyone who has gotten to a specific level, and I want to see where that is. Oh, they've got an announcement on here next on PC Test, episode 21. What I want to know now is, as a PlayStation player, will I be able to get on PC Test ever? Because that's what I want really badly. But we have episode 21 on here, so we'll dive into that. But they have a list of players who have gotten very high in the thing, and I wanted to try to find that again. Where the heck was it? I thought it was in announcements. Maybe. It wouldn't have been in developer discussion. Yeah, I guess it is. Meps posted it, and no, this was posted a while ago. I thought it was recent. But so it was interesting to me that we've got a number of people who have completed survival mode Trigon's Prison round 16, and so forth. They list a ton of them. I'm not going to read all of them because there are a ton of them. But first on the list, I was happy to see, was one of the winners from the base item contest, or for the holiday base contest, Meat. That was the one. So congratulations, Meat. You are a 2-time winner of DCUO stuff, but one of them wasn't one of them was just because you're a really good player, I assume. So there are a ton of them, though, and I wouldn't want to leave. I don't want to single anyone out. Meat, just because I'm saying that player doesn't mean I'm showing favoritism, but I am a little bit, because it's a really cool name and I like to say it. But outside of that, there are a huge number of players, and when I say that, it's a lot to read, but it's not when you think about in retrospect, as far as the number of players that are actually playing the game, it's a pretty small number that are getting to these high congratulations to those folks. Let's jump back to the announcement section, though, because we want to talk about episode 21, which is on the way, and we already know that it has to do with Legends of Tomorrow, but we don't know a whole lot of details about it yet, so I'm going to just dive into those details right now. We can check it out on the fly. MEPS posted this at 4:22 Eastern today. Episode 21 is now available on test server. All players are invited. PC membership is not currently required to access the test server, so if you're playing on PC right now, you have no excuse other than you just haven't downloaded the test client, which is free to download, and they've got a link to it right here on the forums. But episode 21 features content inspired by Legends of Tomorrow and the first piece and Prison Break. Ooh, appropriately named Prison Break. We'll talk more about that later. For all update notes, click here, which is what I'm going to do. And we're going to check out everything. Now, I'm going to read this. I have not read through this yet, so bear with me. A mysterious figure. This is a episode 21 new duo called The First Piece. A mysterious figure has asked you to investigate a heist taking place in one of Gotham University's museum warehouses. The target appears to be a valuable and potentially powerful Kondaki artifact. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Nice. Partner with Hawkgirl or Heatwave. Probably. Well, I guess it wouldn't depend on whether you're a hero or a villain, because either way, they're on the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice. So we're going to get to be with Heatwave, maybe. So partner with Hawkgirl and Heatwave to retrieve the artifact and discover who's behind the heist in the new duo, The First Piece. Gain access to the new feats, collections, and gear. It's free to access for members. To play this two-player duo, your character must be level 30 and have a minimum combat rating of 142. So no joke. We're both 151, so we'll be cool. Maybe. It's not going to be a joke, though. I mean, the last duo that came out was no joke. We didn't mess around. We didn't get a chance to mess around. We've been through that a number of times and not beaten the last boss. I'm not ashamed to say. And just left. Rage left. Like, so it's no joke, even at a 151. Now, granted, we do have the worst internet. I have said before on the show that our internet is run by old people outside right now in the cold, running on treadmills, but they're not the real treadmills that like are powered. They're the ones that they're pushing with their feet to generate the movement and the electricity and making, pretty much powering West Virginia, I think, really. There's only about 7 to 8 of them. They are in their 70s. They do say y'all a lot. So that's what we're working with as far as internet is concerned. So that may affect our ability to get through a mission, I think, is what I'm getting at. Very slow internet. Okay, so the next mission that we have here is Prison Break, which I'm just going to say is awesomely named, considering the two cats that are playing Heatwave and Captain Cold in Legends of Tomorrow were both in the show Prison Break. I have to get that out there, right? Because if not, it seems like I don't know it. So if I say it first, you heard it here. No one else has ever said that before. I don't think any form of media has touched on that before. But I don't have cable, so I really wouldn't know if they did. Anyway, the new 8-player operation is called Prison Break. The same mysterious contact that you dealt with in the duo, so I guess I'm going to want to do these in order. The same mysterious contact that asked you to work with the latest member of the team, the Atom. Nice! So in this one, you're going to get to work with the Atom. Who is this mysterious person, and what are his motives? For now, he has asked his newly formed team of legends to break out a recently... Oh, now I know where we're going. to break out a recently incarcerated individual from Strikers Island. There's just one catch. He's being held in maximum security inside the penitentiary. Hatch a plan with the Atom and break him out from the inside as inmates in the new operation Prison Break. Gain access to new feats, collections, and gear free to access for members. So it is really like Prison Break. I get to be Colden Hallfield or whatever. What was that guy's name? I can't even remember his name in the show. Schofield?
I don't know.
I think it was Schofield. I can't remember what his first name was. Well, Schofield, I believe, was his name. Captain Cold. And I would be... Do I get to have the full body tattoos? That's a serious question that I'm asking DCUO right now. So on Prison Break, do I get to get out by using some dude named Pockets or something? Or Teabag? That was his name. Teabag. Do I have to hold Teabag's pockets in order to get out of this mission? Because if so, I'm in. He said, awkwardly looking at the camera. Anyway, back to the news. To play the 8-player operation, your character must be a level 30, and he must have a minimum combat rating of 142. So again, no joke. And this is an operation. So this is an 8-player. So let's keep in mind that you and I, to date, have still not made it through any of the T7 8-player, content. So this is not going to be a joke. I don't know if we'll ever get to play this. We may grow old.
Lincoln Burrows.
Lincoln Burrows? Oh, that's the actor, though. Yeah. Or no, that was his character's name?
That was his name.
Okay. So Lincoln Burrows, that's Heatwave, right?
Yeah.
And then Wentworth Miller, of course, I know is the actor, but Michael Schofield, right?
And then his name is Dominic Purcell.
Yeah, Dominic's a badass, man. He's even more of a badass after watching this episode. He's the perfect Heatwave. But anyway, so you need to be a 142. Also happening in update 21, or episode 21, sorry. PvPers, get ready to be on the edge of your seat. PvP is getting a combat update. They are increasing the number of melee taps required to trigger a block counter in PvP from 3 to 5. They have reduced damage from thrash and fling for nature's dog form. Oh, so dogs, you've been nerfed. No more biting at the heels in PvP. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but it should be, because if I was a PvPer, I would want to run with a pack of dogs. It would be like me and the dog pound. And they would just follow me everywhere and attack people. So that's what I would do. A couple powers are getting an update in episode 21. So apparently this is much more than just an episode, or they may just be rolling episodes and updates together now rather than having them called different things. They'll be, having like update 77, but you're on episode 25. Anyway, powers that are getting updates. Earth, Reinforce now shows mitigated amount of group mates. I have no idea what that's about because I don't play Earth. Atomic, Subatomic Substitution now shows mitigated amount on group mates. Have no idea what that's about. Research and Development, Season 1. They fixed the name of some scraps. R&D plans for episode 15, 16, and 17. Gear now correctly requires you to be a member or own the specific episode in order to purchase them from the vendor. Oh, I'll bet that sucked because you could probably purchase them from the vendor and then not use them. And that would be not fun. The headquarters now have a point of interest marker on the map for episodes 15, 16, and 17 vendors. Thank you, because that was kind of weird, not being able to see them on the map. So that's cool. And the mission Queen of Lies is getting an update. During the Aquaman fight, the Trident will appear when called by Aquaman a second time, or more. So that to come in episode 21. Exciting news for DCUO. Thank you, DCUO. Thank you, MEPS, for releasing that earlier today, because it gave me something to talk about on DCUO news, so that worked out perfectly. And the servers are obviously back up because we're playing the game, so everyone knows that. I don't know if everyone knew that or not, that the downtime was for a reason. They were doing server restarts, but that they got whatever they were needing to fix. Apparently they fixed it, and we're back up and running. So that is the DCUO portion, talking about new things to come. Obviously, we've got the merge with PC and PlayStation coming soon, so that's next week. I don't know if we've had an announcement yet or not on any downtime for that, but we'll let you know, or continue to check DCUniverseOnline.com to find that out. Outside of that, it was a huge week for DCTV. Huge week for DCTV. This was the first full week back in January. We had every show back on air. I'm going to move over to my new set for DCTV for right now, the Wallow Ladies, and get a nice shot there. Anyway, a huge week for DCTV. We had Supergirl on Monday, Flash on Tuesday, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. Am I missing anything? Not quite yet. So it was a very full week of shows. Everything should be available to stream now. So if you haven't caught up with what was out there, now's the time to turn us off, because we're getting ready to go into spoilers. Getting ready to talk DCTV, not in a huge detail, but in enough detail that I'm going to let some things out of the bag, because that's what I do. I don't know. I may need to ask you things for this. Whoop. Get suited up. Better group you just in case. Supergirl was really good Monday. We're back to Cat Grant doesn't know that Kara is Supergirl. They worked that out. What else? Dealing with some stuff with Martian Manhunter. Kara's just wanting Martian Manhunter to pretty much just come out, I think.
Well, it seems like Alex wants him to a lot. And Carrie. That way he'll be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, he's just trying to... he's scared of something. There's some reason that he's still staying in hiding. He's got a good, I'm sure we'll find out in more detail what that is. Right now, the only thing that we really know is that, he says bad things happen. Now, we saw what he means is that he doesn't like using his mind control powers to mess with people's minds. And it seems like this version of Martian Manhunter isn't as gifted quite yet with that. Maybe he doesn't have as much control over it quite yet. And so when he does it, the adverse side effect is he just wipes the mind blank. He's just trying to... I'm sure ideally he would like to just wipe a section of the memory, but what ends up happening is he wipes everything, and he has to do that to someone in this episode in order to stay covert, and it tears him up. I mean, he doesn't... It's hard. John's a very compassionate dude. He feels very deeply for everything, and for everybody else, doing something like that might be heinous, and it might be something that causes internal turmoil, but for John Jones, that would wreck you. That wrecks him. It tortures him. He'll have nightmares about it. And so we saw, kind of a little bit into that when he has to do that, and we understand now why he doesn't like to use his powers, and I'm sure that over time he'll get to work that out as Supergirl's coming into her own abilities a little bit. She's not, a master at this point. We started out the episode with John teaching her how to fly. And that was sweet, wasn't it?
That was amazing. That was breathtakingly beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, that's one thing about the creators of this show. They are doing one hell of a job when it comes to the flight and when it comes to the CG effects and everything that makes it look real. I mean, it's CBS, so obviously they got the money. They can do that. But so yeah, you start out in the opening sequence of the show is John teaching Kara how to kind of master flight, and so they're going back and forth in the air, and it's just phenomenal. Beautiful is what it is. It's beautiful. However they're doing, and I don't know what the program is or how it is that they're accomplishing the CG effect of Jean and his shape shifting, but it is spot on. And in the episode when he phases through the door, he's trying to covertly go through this compound and discover what's going on with the girl that Maxwell's been keeping and doing experiments to, which we're kind of guessing is Bizarro Supergirl. I don't know. That she could be a Martian though. She could be Magan, for all we know at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, and in the spoiler and speculation section there, but he's trying to get through, and he shapeshifts into the Lord, but he doesn't pick up his fingerprint apparently. I don't know what the deal was with that, but he wasn't passing through the fingerprint scanner. He tried several times, and then he just phased through the door, and it was awesome the way they made him do it. I mean, it was as though his particles were phasing through the door. I don't know how else to describe that. Maybe everything broke down to the molecular level and passed through the door. It was great. And so they're doing a spot-on job of that. You have a lot to look forward to in that episode, the least of which is the flying. Because even though that was phenomenal, there are bigger moments. I don't know about visually, but spiritually. We find out who her friend is. He is indeed the son of the Toy Man, Winslow Schott. So much so that he's Winslow Schott Jr. Like, that was his freaking name the whole time, and we had no idea. But to be fair, I can't find anything on that character. I can't find anywhere where Winslow had a son. So, I don't know. They're kind of writing their own thing on that, which is cool. That'll be fun. But we knew he was going to end up being somebody. I was thinking he was going to end up being Boomerang's son. I kind of hoped he would be Boomer, but they went a similar route than that. I mean, it wasn't too far off that he ended up being one of a main villain's kids. Outside of Supergirl, The Flash was outstanding this week. We got more Wally West, which I'm a huge fan of. Anytime we can get more Wally, yay! Yay! And we've dealt a little bit with we dealt a little bit with Barry's girlfriend. She is someone from the comics, and I didn't know it this entire time either. But she ends up being quite a badass in her own. But going back to Wally, I was really happy with the way that they're playing that character. I was afraid of one of two things happening. He was either going to be a complete goofball that was more Impulse than Kid Flash, more Bart than Wally, or it was going to be that he was some kind of real thug, just like, real bad seed. You know what I mean? Just like a real kind of... And he ends up, he's racing cars, but that's not the worst thing he could do. He's got morals, you know what I mean? He's doing it for a reason.
He's doing it for his mom.
Right. Yeah. And he's a good guy.
And he's fast.
He's real good at it. I would say he has super reflexes. super fast reflexes. So what does that mean when a guy who has super fast reflexes and already is good at racing gets super speed as opposed to a guy who was just a guy? It means he'll be better at it. Boom. I don't know. I'm just joking.
Maybe.
I'm partial to Wally, but we'll see how they develop that character. But I liked it. I liked him a lot, and I hope to see more of him on the show. I think he's lucky as hell to have Joe as a dad. I think that based on what I'm seeing on this show, it's no surprise to me that Barry is the hero that he is, and inevitably will give his life and sacrifice to save existence. Because he's that kind of dude. He was raised by that kind of for someone. And so, here's Wally, who's been alone. He's mad. He's kind of upset that Joe hasn't figured out that he existed up until this point. And, he's a little angsty over it, but he's not over the top angsty, and they end up connecting. There's some great moments, where they connect as father and son and as friends before father and son. So it's a beautiful moment. I recommend having tissues, some soft music, a cuddle dud, a glass of wine, your favorite easy chair, and this compact disc playing on your home stereo. Any fans of The Offspring know what that's all about. I'll leave it at that. But no, all in all, Flash was really, really good. The Turtle was introduced. Was that his name? The Turtle. He slows things down. Yeah. So he takes I'm not a scientist. He takes the inertia from other objects, and slows them way down. And Barry, he can still kind of run, but not really. But most everything else just isn't moving. And so they're going to figure out a way, they think, using this guy to stop Zoom. And I don't know that they're going to succeed going down that route as far as stopping Zoom. And now we've got Professor Dingledorf, who is working behind the scenes to kind of block things up. One might say a cock blocking. He's pulling a prick job on the whole deal, and he's making it so that everything that they're trying to do, he's doing a little sabotage too. Because in the end, this guy wants to steal speed from Barry to give it to Zoom to save his daughter, which is, I can't blame the guy. It's kind of a noble thing. But I'm starting to wonder, old Harrison Wells, if he's not smart enough to figure out a way to dupe Zoom to appear that he's, prick jobbing his own friends, and potentially it's like a reverse prick job that he's doing. It's like a covert double prick job. As I say this, I'm looking up at our skylight in our living room, and I'm realizing that there's like probably 3 foot of snow on top of it. And I'm wondering, wow, I wonder how heavy that is. That's just an abnormal amount of snow. It's ridiculous. But all in all, Flash was good. You're going to have a lot to look forward to as far as that's concerned.
Didn't we see something at the end?
I'm not sure. What did we see?
Is that one?
I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, thank you for that. I almost completely forgot one of the biggest twists. She's right, at the end. Thawne. Reverse Flash. Like, which one are they calling him? I would have liked Professor Zoom better, but I understand now that they've got an actual Zoom on the show that they don't want to confuse the two. But, so Thawne is back, And it's
So hopefully that means that Eddie's alive somewhere.
exactly. Hopefully Eddie, the one who gave it up, is still out there. We can cross our fingers for that and hope. But well, he can be with Iris now. Wally's all, he's all rubbing up on that blonde chick.
Well, remember she said she was leaving. The last conversation they had was she was leaving.
Iris is?
Oh, no,
yeah.
Iris.
No, she's going on to do her
Blonde
own
chick.
thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yep, she's outski.
she's out, Steve. So yeah, no, you can be with Iris. Woo woo.
Yeah, I don't know if he will or not.
Okay.
He has tried before, and it's ended horribly. I don't know. Arrow was phenomenal this week. Arrow's confusing me, though, a lot. Like, all the jumping back and forth. I understand, though, they have...
It's so good, though.
It
It's
is,
like,
it
whoa,
really
whoa.
is. And they have to
What's
do
going on?
something
What's
to
going on?
distinguish themselves from the other DCTV shows. And so, they're sticking with the way things started. They were big on the flashbacks in the beginning, and they're going to keep doing it. I just get confused on where the hell they're flashing to. Is it like before he was Green Arrow? Is it after this person has died? Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know who has not died, don't listen to the rest of it, because I'm going to have to tell you that. We don't know who has died yet. We don't know who's in the grave. But we do know who's not in the grave. And we know something else, too. We know something big. And this was in an interview I read. It was on Twitter, so I don't know who posted it, but the actual folks making the show have stated this was an Easter. This was a we hope the audience sees it type of a thing. So we're watching the whole episode, and they're still after dark, right? Damien Dark's still a douche. He's still running around doing douchey things, and he's pretty much Ra's al Ghul now. So he's off doing stuff. They've got anarchy that they've got to deal with now. He's off being an idiot, doing anarchy stuff. They decide they're going to try and use one to get to the other because there's bad blood there. Ends up not working right. So in the end, Ollie has to save Damien Dark's family from anarchy. And what we find out in all of that is that Damien Dark's wife is pretty much as nuts as he is. And she's on the same kind of a thing. They think it's kind of the Ra's al Ghul theory. They're going to burn it down and let a new world rise from the ashes and whatnot. And so that's what their whole intent is, which is fine and dandy. Damien Dark's using magic or whatever it is that he uses. And so he pretty much, Ollie can't do nothing. Like, there's no point in shooting an arrow at the guy because he's going to stop it in midair, and he's just going to spin it around real cool and shoot it back at Ollie, which he actually does. Probably several times, but at least once that hits him. And so, they're not really moving forward with that. Thea's got her stuff going on with, she's dealing with having this dark side where she just wants to kill now because she's got the bloodlust going on. And they're trying to reveal, they're doing the flashbacks or the flash forwards where they're showing in the future what's going on, and it's still Oliver still wanting to kill Damien Dark. So I don't know how long, I'm not sure how far ahead in the future they're jumping. I think it's
Like 4
months. Okay.
I think.
So obviously this is continuing to go on. Felicity at this point in the real time has been in the hospital. So she's still undergoing surgeries. She's still kind of, they're not sure what the end result's going to be. Well, the end result ends up being that they cannot fix her through surgery. So her spinal damage is just too severe. She's going to be paralyzed probably for the rest of her life. That's going to be that. And I've seen a lot of people online, likening that to Oracle, even saying like, oh, finally we have Oracle, it's lined up and all that, which is cool, but we actually already have an Oracle, and her name is Oracle. She is Oracle. So I'm not sure that this is going to be that type of a thing. I'm not sure if she's going to stay paralyzed. But when they do the flash forward, they jump to the grave site at the burial of whoever it is that has died, Felicity. So it is not Felicity, ladies and gentlemen. She is not the one who is dead. We do not yet know who that
Thank
is.
goodness. Yeah.
Thank goodness. We don't, but at this point, he's breaking up and she's breaking up. And she says to Oliver, you know what you have to do. You have to kill him. Talking about Damien Dark. I'm assuming that's who she's talking about. So now we have to question who is so close to Felicity and Oliver that the person with the straightest moral compass on this show is willing to cross the line. The person who Oliver created the no-kill policy for is crossing the line. Who can that person be? The only person we can come up with is Diggle, and I hope it's not Diggle. That would suck, because I really like him. But it could very well be Diggle, which would then open up his girlfriend to Lila to go back to doing what she's been doing and maybe fall into a situation where she ends up becoming the Harbinger. I don't know. But it would be nice if that happened. No, not if Diggle died. I don't want Diggle to die.
It would be nice if she did that and had Diggle.
But if something happened to the bait, doesn't she have a bait? Is it Diggle's kid?
Yeah, it's Diggle's kid. Sarah Diggle.
If something happened to Sarah Diggle, that would just be I could see that being the one, but I don't think that the show's going to go there. That seems awful far. You know what I mean? There's been some heinous things happen in the DC universe. And I'm sure something similar has happened. In fact, I know it has, but you know, I hope they kind of don't go there. But so you've got that, you've got Diggle. Outside of that, I have no idea. Could be Oliver's sister,
Her
but
mother?
I doubt it. Could be her
Yeah,
mother. Could be her mother. But the big Easter egg, and they've pointed it out now that we should have noticed it, they hoped that we noticed it, was that Felicity is not wearing her ring. So we're supposed to be questioning what has happened in that relationship. Why is Felicity not wearing her ring?
Oh my.
Well, I mean, a guy's got needs. And if she can't perform
Oh my goodness.
to the best of his
Great ball
standards...
fire.
I'm just joking. But I don't know if she's still paralyzed or
He's
not.
totally joking.
We're talking about Oliver Queen, though.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Ollie is he likes the ladies. Anyway, I don't know if she was still paralyzed or not, based on the way she was sitting and stuff. She was stayed in the car, so I guess that was the clue that if she wasn't, she would have been out. It was raining, so I'm guessing that, she was still having problems. So I don't know what the cause of it will be. The cause of it could be she gets pissed off at him. Maybe he does go a little bit too far, and that sparks, because at this point, Damien's, I want to say he's made moves to complete his objective, but he's kind of really only done things directly to Oliver, and for retribution type purposes, I don't know. We shall see. But again, Arrow, if you haven't seen it, now you know exactly what happened, so, sorry. But you have a lot to look forward to on the rewatch, I guess. I'm going to be rewatching all of these this week. The big one that I want to get to, and the most exciting to me, and probably a lot of people, but the most exciting thing that I think has happened since the first episode of The Flash, because Arrow was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Arrow was awesome. And when Arrow premiered, we loved it. It was great. But a few things. It was called Arrow, number one. It was not Green Arrow. He was not called Green Arrow. He was not in Starling City. He was in,
And they fixed
or
all
yeah,
that.
he was not in Star City. He was in Starling City. And so all of those things changed over time on the show, but there was a build-up. So the very first episode didn't seem like an iconic DC show to me right off the bat, because it was still
That's crazy.
because it was still kind of different. Like Supergirl's freaking Supergirl, you know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
comes out of the box Supergirl. There's no build up to it. But Arrow was a little bit different. I was looking for Green Arrow. I was looking for everything I already knew about Green Arrow, and that wasn't what it was initially.
No, but they worked hard to
They
get
did.
it
They
that
really
way.
brought it back, but in a cool way, in a very cool way. Flash was pretty straightforward, so it was pretty exciting to see Flash, and it was pretty exciting for me when he showed up on Arrow. But Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Legends of Tomorrow was just everything I wanted it to be. It was slightly campy. I mean, to me it was. It wasn't like,
I
oh
didn't think
shucks,
so at
like
all.
pow bang campy, but it was iconic.
Yes.
And they wrote in things specifically to get iconic lines out of the characters. It was phenomenal. It's going to tie everything together. I'm going to read a little bit off of DC Comics about the characters on the show, but if you have not seen it yet, don't listen to what I'm going to talk about. Well, you can for a little while, but definitely go watch it and enjoy it. You're going to have a lot of fun with this show. I had a lot of fun with the show. We had a lot of fun with the show. We high-fived several times. There were some serious high-fives between husband and wife on our couch in this show. It was, some serious stuff. Almost too much to handle. So you've got the Atom, and this is number one reason why I'm so excited about this show. I need some Mountain Dew. Good God, I've been going on for like 45 minutes about everything just to get to this point. This isn't where it tapers off. This is where it begins, folks. Sorry about your luck. All right. So, get a little dew in me. Has to be 2.5 feet of snow outside right now. Not going anywhere. Doing nothing but talking DCTV on DCU Tonight. And we're on VAR Nation is the station that we're on, is the channel that we're on. And supporting the channel helps support the show, mostly because we're the only two people on the channel at this point. There's only a couple shows, and all of them are us. So, but inevitably it's going to be I hope it to be more of a network type channel, and this to be one of the many shows that are on there, not only hosted by us, but hosted by people close to us probably. But anyway, my point being, Ray Palmer, the Atom, to me, and to most of the DC Comics world, is one of the most significant characters. In some ways, the most significant character. So there were little things that I didn't like about, obviously, just because they had said the opposite of that in this show. But I think that, obviously this show has to happen, because that's kind of the way it was when they started the new 52, not the new 52, but the 52-week thing, where they did all the time traveling with Booster Gold. No Booster Gold yet, though. I would love that. I would flip out if Booster Gold was in it. But no, we've got the Atom, Ray Palmer. And not only is he an awesome character and a super cool guy, but he's played by one of the most awesome people ever to don the cape, Brandon Routh, who in my opinion will always stand among Christopher Reeves and Tom Welling and Dean Cain and all of the greats, George Reeves, I said Christopher Reeves, I meant Reeve. And now we get to watch him again in the TV show. It's so awesome, and I'm so excited. He was on Arrow, but he was kind of a side player. But now he's a showrunner, and just the heart that guy brings to any character. He's doing such a great job as Ray Palmer and making it different from his Superman and his Clark Kent and every other, his Dylan Dog, every other character that he's played. But he's bringing the heart to the role, and I love to see that. I love that guy. I love you, Brandon Routh. You are, and I will, if I ever saw Brandon Routh, I'm sorry, but forever I'm going to call him Superman. He's always going to be Superman to me, but he's doing a hell of a job as Ray Palmer. So, And if he does a hell of a job enough, he's a proven screen actor. He can totally pull off the Atom in a movie, a Justice League movie, which would be superb. So if they go that direction with it, I'll be happy. But, we've got Sarah Lance back, and we get a lot of crossover with Arrow in this episode. Ollie's in it, Laurel's in it. We get some great scenes with Laurel talking to Sarah about how she's gonna find herself and all this kind of stuff, because it's a big task. Rip Hunter comes out of nowhere and gathers these guys up, and he's going to take them off on this, what they think is an adventure, because he comes and tells them that they are legends of tomorrow, and that in his time they're legends, and they've done all this to save the world, and blah, blah, blah. Wanted to get them on board. And so they were kind of, what he says, was insignificant to the timeline. So he could take them, and if anything happened to them, it wasn't going to make much of a difference. So right now I'm going to go over to DCComics.com, because here we have on their site a little information about Rip Hunter, because I don't know if a lot of people are very familiar with the character or not. I like him a lot more based on the show. It's kind of like Doctor Who. He's kind of like DC Comics Doctor Who. So to that end, I just kind of, I go for it. So anyway, on DCComics.com, they've got a link here to go to the hashtag DCTV Secrets of DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Episode 1, Part 1, titled Pilot, or it is the pilot. It says, Rip Hunter has assembled a team to stop Vandal Savage, but Savage's location isn't the only secret in the series. We're here to tease you with the DCTV secrets hiding in each episode. If you want to know some of the answers to these questions, jump to the spoilers section for answers, which I'm going to do, and it says no time travel required. It's cute. It says, we're not keeping secrets, unlike Rip Hunter. The hashtag DCTV universe expands with Rip Hunter's travel into the past. He manages to pull together a motley crew. Why is that a thing still? Motley crew? Oh, okay. I don't know. Anyway. The motley crew, they're to hunt Vandal Savage, and though they gained some valuable information on their first outing, they didn't uncover everything. Here are the DCTV secrets from the first episode of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. And the questions that they're asking are, who is Rip Hunter, who is Kronos, and how about the name of that ship? I don't care about the name of the ship. I know who these guys are, but I'm going to read what DC Comics has put out here, because obviously they want you to know what their version of the characters now or in the show are going to be like. So we go to Rip Hunter. And the Legend of Tomorrow pilot introduces to us a time-traveling adventurer called Rip Hunter. First appearing in Showcase number 20, Rip Hunter is transformed over time, the key word being time. He's always involved in jumping around the past and future, usually in his invention called the Time Sphere. So traditionally, he is the inventor of this time-jumping ship, I guess. He's helped all sorts of heroes traveling into different periods to stop near-do-wells and villains. I don't know what the hell a near-do-well is. Much like he's doing now. So he jumped, he's Doctor Who, kinda. He's like a superhero version of Doctor Who, I guess. Only this one uses a gun sometimes. But his gun was awesome. He's got like a laser 6-shooter type thing. It's tight. So we've got that. The dude playing him is super cool. I really do like him a lot. Seems very genuine and nice. What we find out is that he's chasing after Kronos. Or no, I'm sorry. He's trying to stop Vandal Savage, who has killed his wife and son. So, among the other heinous acts that Vandal Savage has performed. And they've nailed everything that I think Vandal Savage should be to a T with this guy. I'm really liking what they're doing with Vandal Savage. Vandal traditionally is originally was a caveman, right? And he, at least in most of the tellings that I'm used to, there's a meteor shower, and he ends up sleeping next to a meteor. When he wakes up in the morning, he's immortal, and he can't be killed with anything. And he has been killed, people have tried with lots of different ways and techniques, and he cannot die. So this version's a lot different in the sense that it's different, but it's the same. They're tying Hawkgirl and Hawkman to it, but it's still stemming from a meteor shower that's affected all three of them. And so Vandal, over time, has learned that if he siphons this, I'm going to call it energy, from them by killing them, he will live forever. So he kills them over and over and over again. And so, they're kind of tying two stories together. They're doing it in a really cool way. I know we've talked about that before, but it's still, even knowing what's going on now, there's still little things. We're still finding out little nuances about how that works and how it's come into play in this episode. And so you get to dive into their history a little bit there, and spoiler alert, we run into the son of Hawkman and Hawkgirl from one of their previous incarnations. So their life before their one they're living right now, they actually had a son, and after they raise him to about 10 years, I think, about 10 years old is what they said, he goes off into the world, and because Vandal finds them and kills them in front of him, basically. He's hiding in the closet. So then they tie in the Bertinelli story a little bit to that too. Like, it makes me think of Huntress there. But yeah, so his parents are killed right in front of him, and he goes into hiding, and eventually, this is so awesome, they come back in time. At their previous, or a newer incarnation does, and meet up with this guy, and he helps them through most of the mission. Well, it was in history that he was going to die at a certain time. They knew that going into the encounter. He ended up dying as a result of their encounter. And so, it makes you wonder. And one of the things that Rip says is time kind of finds a way. Like, time will compensate. And so one of the main things that they're going to be fighting in this series is time itself, because not only are they going to be stopping things from happening, but then time's going to be trying to right itself, and they're going to have to keep kind of consistently nudging, is kind of the sense that I get. But in the midst of all this, you've got the Atom, you've got Firestorm, which the doctor ends up drugging the kid to get him to come, the other part of Firestorm. But Heatwave, Captain Cold, there are some very awesome moments with those guys. They're the comic relief in a sense. They're villains thrown in with this group of heroes, and really what they're looking for is a good time, and to hopefully be able to pull off some heists as they're traveling through time is the thought. And so that's where their heads are at, but they're constantly being funny. There's a scene where they go out to a bar with Sarah, and she, obviously she's Sarah. She ends up getting into a bar fight. They end up jumping into the bar fight with them. There's some great comic relief where The three of them come back to the ship, and what's happening is this dude Kronos is attacking. And so I'm going to read a little bit about what DC Comics wants us to know about Kronos for this series. It says the ultimate in time management. It says Rip Hunter isn't the only new character in town because Rip broke the rules. The Time Masters Council sent Kronos to find him. Apparently they take protecting the timeline seriously. Kronos first appeared in the Atom number 3 and often faces off against Ray Palmer. He actually began his career as a petty criminal and trained himself to learn the rhythm of time to use it to his advantage. So that cat synced himself up with the rhythm of time to be able to basically control it to his advantage. He studied and his studies and inventions got more and more advanced. He even became capable of building a fully functional time machine. And so that's how he's able to follow Rip through time. It's got a really awesome picture of Kronos. I've seen Kronos, Kronos has been all over the place in comics for quite a while. I'm going to talk about the ship here a little bit, catching a wave. The Rip Hunter ship, the one he commandeered, is called Wave Rider. The name wasn't used just because it sounded catchy. It has a time-traveling history. Wave Rider, also known as Matthew Rider, is a superhero time traveler who first appeared in Armageddon 2001, number 1. He could access and monitor the time stream and predict a person's future. I would have much rather seen him on the show than that ship. Wish they would have shown that to us. I don't know, but it is a super cool ship, a really good show. I think it's gonna do well. I hope the numbers did well. We don't know. I haven't checked the numbers yet, but we'll talk about that in later shows to come. But it was a really enjoyable time. Some very iconic lines, some very funny moments, some very, serious moments, some very touching moments. We're going to get to travel through time, see different versions of things happen. Vandal Savage is a badass. Hopefully they can shut him down. It's just going to get better and better. So, DC's Legends of Tomorrow. If you're looking it up on the internet, make sure you start with the DC's part because you'll never find it if you don't. But everything, all the shows that we've talked about on tonight's episode of DCU Tonight should be available to stream online at this point. Obviously, that's how we watched them. So thanks for joining us tonight, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know if I left anything out. I'll check at the pull list real quick and see because I did not do that. Lida will yell at me later if I don't talk about that. Don't forget episode 21 coming soon, and that is tying in with DC's Legends of Tomorrow. That was what I wanted to talk about. Will Brandon Routh come and do the voice of the Atom for DCUO? Please, dude. Please, Brandon Routh. You're such an awesome dude. You're such a nice guy. You love comics and you love superheroes. You love Superman. Please, sir, come get a hold of someone at DC Universe Online, Daybreak Games. Please, let's get his voice in the game because that would just make my day. Really would. We have so many wonderful voice actors in DC Universe Online. So many unbelievably talented voice actors that I would have never thought would be in a video game, let alone one that I play a lot of. Jane, for God's sakes, doing the voice of Superman, Susan Eisenberg, Wonder Woman, Mark Hamill, Joker, Kevin Conroy, Batman.
Melissa Benoist.
We need Melissa Benoist to come and do Supergirl.
I like Supergirl's voice, though.
Yeah, I do too. I wouldn't want to replace her. That's not my bag of beans.
They all sound amazing.
Yeah.
Harley
We have some very good very iconic voice actors in the game. So, but anyway, going over to DC Comics pull list, we have Greg Miller doing Superboy coming up. So, Greg Miller from henceforward, Greg Miller gets billing with all of those people. That's pretty cool, man. You get to be, his name is up there. Okay, and you can go also to DC Comics and see Superhero News react to Suicide Squad's new trailer. We didn't talk about the trailers. I'm going to do individual segments about the two trailers that we just saw, but Legends of Tomorrow has a new trailer out now that you can catch on DC Comics YouTube page. There was a thing where Jeff Johns was talking with Kevin Smith about some stuff going on over at DC. Yeah, we haven't watched that yet. We need to go watch that. I think that it was told to me earlier that was that's available to see on Kevin Smith's YouTube page. Nice. So we'll be watching that as soon as we're done talking.
We should watch Snoop Dogg too.
Oh yeah, we got to get over to Westfall TV. Don't forget that. Westfall TV, go pay homage to the man, the myth, the legend. Finding Nemo, a.k.a. Nemo Hose, a.k.a. Snoop Dogg. Watch the pimp in action. But anyway, yeah, we're going to go watch Kevin Smith's thing over at his YouTube page to talk about all of the DCTV shows that we have been discussing in tonight's show. You can go to KryptonSite.com, jump into the forums. There will be a forum for each individual one. I think I already talked about these on the pull list for DC Comics still. Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death #1, New Suicide Squad Volume 1, Pure Insanity, and Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Trinity, Deluxe Edition, all available now. All are available now. So that pretty much wraps things up, guys. Thanks for watching the show. The show is DCU Tonight. The channel is VAR Nation. You can visit our website at varnationdcuo.com. You can hang with us on Twitter at @VAR_Nation, and there we'll give updates as far as when the shows are going to be, what shows are going to be about, and just generally, if we're going to stream or whatnot. You can help support the channel and support the show by visiting our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/VARNation, or by hitting the support button on our YouTube page, or if you can't do either of those things, by subscribing to our YouTube channel and liking our videos. That helps us very, very much. In fact, that at this point in the game may help us more than anything. So we appreciate you guys watching. If you have ideas or if you have topics that you'd like us to discuss on the show, you can always email us at it's news@varnationdcuo.com. So again, thanks for joining us. For Hippolyta Kent, this is Rock Var saying peace out.